Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Hello and welcome to the 25th episode of Living on the Edge. It's an anniversary of sorts, and we'd like to thank our viewers for their response to a program which to some may seem like a prophecy of doom. Thank you for your story ideas, suggestions, criticism and encouragement. This week we break format to bring you an update on some of the stories we've already done. Did anything change as a consequence of our reports, or are things the way they always were? We also find out what viewers think about the environment and our program, reveal the lighter side to environmental reporting, and give you the addresses hundreds have asked for.
But first, I'd like to read out a letter from D. Satyanandu from Sikandrabad. When I watch your program on TV, my first urge is to go and hide in a room till it's over. I feel so guilty for the sad state of the environment around us. I feel responsible for it and wish I could do something to alter the present condition. Well, I'm sorry living on the edge makes you feel so guilty. Our intention is to spread awareness, reveal how man, animals and nature are inextricably linked, and show what you as an individual could do to help protect the environment. Yes, sometimes we do come across too strong. But what do you think about the environment and our program? Our correspondent spoke to a cross-section of people to find out. आपके ख्याल में ये शब्द जो है पर्यावरण क्या महत्व होता है?
पर्यावरण होता क्या है जी, पहले ये बताओ.
Environment means a good place to live in, clean air, nice atmosphere, and that we can't find in India.
पर्यावरण का मतलब तो भाई साहब मालूम है. प्रकृति का आवरण नहीं तो प्रकृति का वस्त्र.
The environment really means the totality of all the Pancha Mahabhutas and the reaction of mankind with it.
এনভায়রনমেন্ট মানে আমরা যেখানে থাকি, যেখানে চাকরি করি, যেখানে বেশি সময় আমরা স্পেন্ড করি, সেটা হলো আমাদের এনভায়রনমেন্ট.
It's all polluted. People are cutting trees and smoke or over.
Yeah, people are cutting trees because a lot of pollution all around. It's causing us harm. Like we are having all asthma problems.
अब अच्छा बुरा की मुझे क्या खबर.
एन्व्हायरमेंटची स्थिती ह्या देशात शहरांमध्ये वाईट आहे आणि गावांमध्ये थोडी बरी आहे.
आजकल तो बुरा है. Very bad. Very bad. In Delhi itself, it's very bad.
Disastrous. Nothing that is happening about environment today gives you even the glimmer of a hope that anything right will be done.
Mostly, I think every one of us, we are not really doing enough. And one could say that governments or industry, things like that, but ultimately each one of us is responsible.
दिल्ली ट्रैफिक पुलिस
क्यों बोलते हैं?
क्योंकि वो ट्रक जो है सबसे ज़्यादा तो वही पोल्यूट करते हैं.
It's like asking who is responsible for crime in society. There is no single point answer. But if you want to ask me who is responsible most for not setting it right early enough, there's no question that it is the government.
If you see the philosophical aspect, I think in terms of the nature and the people, college-going students, whatever they think.
ഇന്ത്യയിലെ മോശപ്പെട്ട പരിസ്ഥിതിക്ക് കാരണം ഒന്നാമത് നാം എല്ലാവരും, രണ്ടാമത് ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിൻ്റെ ഭാഗത്തുനിന്ന് ശരിയായ ഒരു നീക്കങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോഴില്ല.
पर्यावरण अच्छा अगर अच्छा नहीं होता तो हम जीवित कैसे होते. In respect to Miss Maneka Gandhi, what she is doing, I think that's great, and it's I think she should set an example. She's already an example, in fact, and we should all toe on our lines.
হ্যাঁ, নিশ্চয়ই পজিটিভ আছে, তার কারণ অ্যাটলিস্ট এভরিবডি সকলেই কনসিয়াস হয়ে গেছে এনভায়রনমেন্ট সম্বন্ধে?
No.
A song?
Each episode by itself has been very good, well documented, well taken, well researched, well photographed, well commented upon. It doesn't leave you with an overbearing sense of overloading with information.
Basically, we're living on the edge right now because we never know when we'll fall off.
Once people are aware, which this program has played a very major role in a national environment awareness building, it has a good contribution to this.
लिविंग ऑन द एज तो जो है ना इंग्लिश के अगर उस पर लेंगे तो जो है ना भाई किनारे पे बिल्कुल पहुंच चुका है आदमी जो है ना.
When one is not satisfied with the present environment, with the present thing, and one wants to shift from the shifts to the better one. That's it. Basically, a transition from one state to another. That could be called living on the edge.
Okay, what does the term living on the edge mean to you?
Although we do try and take viewers' letters into account while planning our series, it isn't always possible. For instance, many of our viewers want Living on the Edge to be in Hindi too. Doordarshan is considering doing our series in 3 to 4 other languages, but that may take some time. Deepak Babbar of Amritsar City Club, S. Vyas of Karimnagar, Andhra Pradesh, and Suresh Kumar of Palakkad, Kerala have one common wish, says Suresh Kumar. I wish to know whether the concerned authorities watch your program. If so, whether they react to the program. I request you to have some feedback system, that there should be some measure to see whether your program has done anything positive to the issues you have picturized. Here's an update on some of the stories that we have done over the past 25 episodes.
1 year after we did a feature on the Gujjars in Rajaji Park in Dehradun, the community continues to be locked in a battle with the forest department. For centuries, Gujjars, mainly cattle rearers, lived in harmony with nature. But today their increasing numbers and changed lifestyle is resulting in the denudation of the forests. To reduce this pressure, the UP government has put forward a proposal for their relocation outside the forest. And this is where the conflict began. Gujjars felt that the alternative rehabilitation was inadequate and have refused to shift. In December last, a committee comprising of Gujjars and forest officials was formed so that a compromise could be reached. Some Gujjars have agreed to shift if their demands are met, but NGOs claim otherwise and feel that alternate developmental programs should be initiated while allowing the Gujjars to remain in the forests. Result: no change, although the question has been elevated to the status of a debate.
In April 1993, the Supreme Court banned all mining activity in the Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan. But Living on the Edge found that mining was continuing despite the ban. Mining had virtually destroyed the ecosystem as water tables had dropped and agricultural lands had been degraded. One reason for the continuance of mining was said to be the confusion over the park boundary. Today, uncertainty over the boundary of the Tiger Reserve persists. Illegal mining hasn't stopped, but villagers around Sariska have rekindled the age-old tradition of check dams. Over 400 dams have been built through local participation. This has increased the water level in the area and agricultural production has increased by 200%. An afforestation program has also been started. In recognition of this, the Tarun Bharat Sangh, an NGO working with the villagers, received the Rotary Award for Environment in 1994. Result: mining unabated, but environmental regeneration in progress.
In the 1980s, environmental concerns drove many state governments to notify and protect forests as national parks and sanctuaries. This means that once a forest is demarcated as a sanctuary or national park, special laws apply to protect plant and animal life in that area. But in the 90s, with the emphasis shifting to globalization, a trend of denotifying these protected areas seems to be emerging. In Maharashtra, 1/3 of Melghat's Tiger Reserve was sought to be denotified, but environmental groups took the case to court and a stay order was issued. And this is where the matter stands today, 6 months after Living on the Edge spoke to forest officials and environmental groups in Maharashtra. However, up north in Himachal, a part of the Great Himalayan National Park protecting Himalayan ecosystems, an endangered species like the musk deer was quietly denotified and downgraded to a sanctuary status. Today, the list of denotified areas includes the Narayan Sarovar National Park in Gujarat, the Bhitarkanika Sanctuary in Orissa, and many others. Result: legality of denotification to be decided by court.
Since Living on the Edge did a story on population, the Swaminathan Committee report had called for drastic changes in the government's family planning policy, which till now has focused on targets in exclusion of everything else. The report, which was tabled in Parliament, was to come up for discussion in the winter session of Parliament, but it didn't. As things stand, the budget session may spark off a debate on the Swaminathan report. Result: recognition of the need for a different approach to India's population problem. Concrete action may be in the offing.
Will elephants survive in their natural habitat, or will they be seen only in zoos? There might still be some hope for this beleaguered animal. Project Elephant seeks to increase elephant habitat and develop corridors joining small forest patches. For instance, a plan is being worked on by the Wildlife Institute of India to form corridors to integrate the forests of Rajaji and Corbett Park. While this is likely to take time, a move in this direction is heartening for both man and elephant.
The East Coast Road was to link Madras to Kanyakumari along the coast. Even though it was cleared by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, it soon ran into trouble. Environmentalists insisted that the road would cause irreversible damage to the coastal ecology. Since then, environmentalists have got a stay order on the construction. Besides, an expert committee is supposed to assess the environmental impact of the East Coast Road and submit their report to the Ministry of Environment and Forests. A final decision will be taken after that. Result: many of the real issues obscured in the debate between the proponents of development and those of conservation. Just how objective the new findings will be cannot be ascertained. And what will happen to the land acquired, the trees already cut, and the bridges already built?
Few people were surprised when the 1996 National Games were assigned to Bangalore. After all, Bangalore is the fastest growing city in India with admirable infrastructure. And yet, the state government seems to have locked itself in a protracted battle with voluntary groups over the location of the Games village. The site in question was reserved to be a park, falling within the designated green belt. It also functions as a wetland, crucial for several migratory birds and other species. But if the Games village gets priority, it will result in the destruction of our entire ecosystem and alter Bangalore's climate, because green areas are in fact lungs for the city. Today, over 3 months after Living on the Edge exposed this move, the government has changed, but plans for the village remain unchanged. In fact, despite opposition from environmentalists, the project has been speeded up. Result: Games Village to be a reality and wetlands to disappear.
For over 70 years now, coal fires have been raging in Jharia in eastern Bihar. Experience has shown that these fires are not easy to tame, and BCCL, one of the major coal companies operating in the area, have been making slow progress. Every year, crores are allocated to fight these fires. The struggle against this natural occurrence is a long drawn-out one. But Living on the Edge could not understand why rehabilitation of over 300,000 people living around the fires has not taken place. Thousands are still living around and over the fires. The toxic fumes and heat makes living unbearable. And yet they have received no relief either from the coal authorities or the state administration. And today the picture remains very much the same. Result: slow progress in controlling fires and no progress in rehabilitation. Delhi accounts for more than half the damage caused to the Yamuna. For as soon as the river enters Delhi, it is transformed into a smelly, greyish black mass that barely moves. 19 drains deposit domestic waste, and over 3,000 small industrial units in Wazirabad let out untreated effluents into the river. Besides killing nearly all the fish in the river, the pollution is also a source of serious waterborne diseases. To combat the problem, the Planning Commission in July 1994 cleared the Yamuna Action Plan. In the past 7 months, this Japanese-funded project has begun working on 12 effluent treatment plants in 14 townships in Haryana and Uttar Pradesh besides Delhi. Moreover, efficient crematoriums and community toilets are being built to reduce the load on the Yamuna. Trees are also being planted on the banks of the river to reduce siltation. But strangely enough, industrial pollution is not under the purview of the project, and thus thousands of small-scale industries continue to pollute the river. Result: pollution to be reduced under the plan, but offenders are not being checked at source. India is said to have over 20 million smokers, and this number is increasing. It's not surprising that an estimated 3 million lives are claimed by tobacco-related diseases worldwide. The experience of other countries has shown that aggressive advertising of cigarettes has increased consumption. As a result, the Health Ministry is seeking to ban advertising of tobacco products and restrict public smoking. It also seeks to introduce a nicotine and tar ceiling in cigarettes and bidis. Recent developments have shown that this is being vehemently opposed by trade unions and manufacturer associations. Tobacco growers and dealer associations too are opposing this move. Therefore, any change is likely to come through only after a long tussle between the government and the tobacco lobby. Result: impasse, although the government is determined to table anti-tobacco legislation in Parliament.
Over the past 25 episodes, Living on the Edge has used over 22,000 minutes of videotape and travelled over 60,000 kilometres by road, rail, air, foot and elephant back to report on the state of India's environment.